Hi, everyone. Welcome to our next episode of My Awesome Friend. I have the pleasure of having with us today Miss Cristine. Hello, Cristine. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. Excited to be here. How are you?
Good. Hey, girl. Hey. It's going to be that kind of episode. Cristine and I met recently within like the last year or so, right?
Yeah.
Through a leadership program. And we were sitting around a table having lunch with maybe 20 other program volunteers.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I said something about being in band, and Cristine said something about being a thespian drama kid, and our love for the arts
Yeah.
shortly after brought us together. And I asked you to have lunch, and you geeked out very excitedly.
I was so happy. I was like, she's so cool. I can't wait to have coffee with her.
So awesome and so sweet and so silly. And so fast forward, we've now become pretty good friends. But Cristine, so tell us a little bit first about who is Cristine, what's your background, and what do you do?
Sure. So obviously, I'm Cristine. I'm really excited to be here. I was born and raised in Miami. I come from a Cuban heritage. So my parents are both Cuban, but I was born here, born and raised in the 305, Dade County. And my love for nonprofit kind of came about. It kind of just finds people, I think. But I grew up in a very humble household. I was always taught that in a world where you have everything, you should be a giver first. And fundraising kind of found me. So now I am the Director of Development at Chapman Partnership, which is a local homeless assistance center. It's been around for about 30 years, just empowering our local homeless community here. And yeah, I'm a nonprofit junkie, as her shirt says. And I love the arts.
Shameless plug for Savage Baby.
Shameless.
So shameless. And you love the arts, you were saying.
I love the arts,
The arts are friggin' awesome, dude.
They're honestly, I think you're either one or the other. You can be both, but I think when I was growing up, like I've always been super tall, and like a lanky, tall kid. And so I think I thought I wanted to be in sports. Shortly after trying a sport, I was in chorus, and I always like grew up around music. My dad was a DJ growing up, so music was something that was always like in the framework of my family, always celebratory and just really a place to connect. So chorus, theater, musicals, the whole nine, competing and monologues and pantomimes, and just love to express myself that way.
What is a really quick fire? What is your favorite piece that you have sung of all time?
Oh my gosh, that's a quick fire?
Yeah.
Okay. So my favorite role was probably Ariel in The Little Mermaid when I was in the 8th grade. It was probably my favorite, but my favorite piece that I've sung would probably be the finale of Legally Blonde. I was Elle Woods my senior year in high school.
Didn't you dye your eyebrows to match for the role?
Story.
That
I
is a
did.
great
So I
story.
actually dyed them for the audition. This is my natural dark hair color. But I was just like going all in. So it was my senior year. You can imagine my mom, when I decided to dye my eyebrows blonde, I bleached them. They were orange for my prom, but we figured it out. And I dyed them blonde and I got the role and I got to do it alongside some of my greatest friends. And it's such a highlight of my theater journey.
That is an awesome testament to commitment at a young age.
What is your favorite piece that you've performed?
You know, the one that just came to mind, no joke, was in the 5th grade, our recorder group, and we were on stage playing A Whole New World. And till this day, such a classic. Till this day, I can still play A Whole New World on my recorder. So very proud of that.
It's my favorite karaoke song.
So I'm going to put you on the spot. Will you sing a little bit
Right now?
of the Legally Blonde song?
No shot. I don't even remember half of the lyrics.
That's okay. We just need like
Oh my gosh.
2
I'm not
lines.
even warmed up. I have to think. What lines would I even sing?
I don't even know the song, so.
Well, it's called Legally Blonde, which is ironic. But she says something along the lines like, "It's fine with me, just let me be legally blonde."
That was beautiful.
So it's kind of just like, I wasn't a blonde, but I resonated with that line. Oh my gosh, you made me sing on the spot?
Yeah, I sure did.
My mom's
I
gonna
love
be so
it.
proud.
Oh my God, I've never actually heard you sing, and that was beautiful.
Really?
Yeah. Can't wait for that talent show. Soon, talent show coming soon.
Are we going to have a duet?
We can. I can play my French horn while you sing.
Legally Blonde.
Yes, get the music. I actually just bought the Star Wars book so I can learn how to play Star Wars songs. Not because I'm a Star Wars fanatic by any means, but my friend Anna is. And so I promised her that I would learn some tunes on my French horn for her.
Dedicated friend.
I try. We're good people here. We're awesome friends. You see what I did there?
I like that.
Cristine, you work for a nonprofit, but you're also involved with a lot of other organizations.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about, and I asked this to someone the other day, what is your favorite organization? And they asked me to not pick between their favorite children. Never. But maybe there's a couple of organizations that you want to highlight in some of their work.
So I think growing up, like along my journey, I didn't know what an umbrella Miami was for nonprofits, and how like there really is such like the invisible string theory among nonprofits. It's something that I've been kind of connecting in my brain. But I wouldn't say I would narrow it down to nonprofits, but I would definitely narrow it down to like age-specific areas. So I think family resources, right? Family enrichment is something that I think a lot of people don't know that they have access to, or they don't think is important because it's not tangible, right? So I think family enrichment nonprofits, there's so many good ones in Miami. Be Strong International, to name one. Chapman has a lot of family services too, but really just allowing families to connect beyond just fitting a need. Like it's not a tangible need. Like it's not like picking up groceries or, paying a light bill, but it's still just as important to break a cycle. So I really appreciate those nonprofits that have kind of like that legacy angle of ending the cycle. But anything really families with children. I love Neighbors for Neighbors. Growing up, we can get vulnerable for a second. But I actually, one of my favorite things to do with my family over the holidays is partner with Neighbor for Neighbors, because we were a recipient growing up one year. And
of Adopt a Family?
Yeah, we were one of the families. And one year I decided to do it, and I was telling my parents about it, and my entire family wanted to get in on it, because we're now, some years later, we're so blessed and fortunate that we're able to do that. So it's our way of giving back. And so just a couple, those are just a couple, but there's so many nonprofits, any that you get involved in, anywhere, wherever you're watching, you can leave such an impact, right? It takes so little to leave an impact, whether it's your time, your talent, your treasure. I think people confuse philanthropy a lot with like $1 million checks, which yes, are wonderful and are game changers for organizations, but you'd be surprised at some of the grassroots organizations that only have like 2 or 3 staff that would be so grateful for your time on a Saturday with your family. So I encourage anyone and everyone to find what they love and how to give back, and to just go for it.
I love it so much. Cristine, some quick fire questions. Are you ready for them?
I'm ready. Oh my gosh.
All right. What was the last place you traveled to?
The last place I traveled to? The Bahamas.
Okay.
2 years ago.
Fair.
Awful.
Oh, that's fair.
No, the Bahamas was great, but it's awful that I haven't traveled in 2 years.
It's okay, because we're going on an epic cruise.
We are going on an amazing cruise.
What cruise are we going on? Who should we shout out?
Royal Caribbean.
Royal Caribbean. Shout out to them. Just because, not because this is sponsored, paid, or because, hook us up with whatever you want, but because Royal Caribbean is an active participant of community here in Miami.
Oh, yes.
And we actually won this cruise at a United Way event, Build Your Own Brunch, where we bid for it. So thank you, Royal Caribbean.
Thank
we will
you.
be enjoying.
And if there's any way to cruise, why not in charity, right?
Yeah,
So.
give your money for a good cause.
Yeah.
What was the last thing that you watched that you maybe binged on?
Okay, so Grey's Anatomy is definitely like my comfort show.
Is it not done yet?
I don't know how I feel about the last couple of seasons, but I just restarted it from the beginning a few months ago.
You brave soul.
I am a brave soul. It makes me feel, and I love Grey's Anatomy. It's a classic. I learn something new every time I watch it.
Absolutely.
I think because you watch it at like such different ages. There's like 20 seasons, so it's going to take you some time. But you get to watch it from like different perspectives every time you watch it. So that'd be the last thing I binge watch. But I love to read.
What was the last thing you read?
So my awesome friend,
Yay!
recommended this novel to me. It's a trilogy called The Bronze Horseman.
Okay.
So good. You won't be able to put it down.
What's it about?
It's like a war love story.
Ooh.
And it's so good.
How epic.
I'll lend it to you.
I love it. Cristine, what are you working on now?
So I'm working on a couple of different things. I recently moved, so I'm a new resident of Coral Gables. I love it. That is not sponsored. I genuinely just love Coral Gables. But I'm working on a couple of work projects, right? Also taking some time for me, right? Figuring out things that I like to do to connect with myself, trying new things. So working out was something I was like, absolutely not. I'm not athletic, like theater kid for life. I'll work out my diaphragm, like that's it. But I recently signed up for a gym, and I've been keeping myself accountable just to like build healthier habits. So I'm working on that.
What else are you doing to take care of yourself aside from physical fitness?
The power of no is something one of my mentors, which she's also one of my mentors, and we'll talk about that. But the power of no, I think it's a struggle for me because like I get FOMO, right? Like I want to go to everything, be at everything. I don't want to miss any experience, but I also don't want to be exhausted, and I want to make sure that I'm transitioning my energy the right way. And I recently did like this assessment that taught me that I was a 51% introvert and 49% extrovert. I was like, that's not possible, but it actually is. So I charge my extroversion with my introversion time. So to take care of myself, just making time for things that are maybe outside of nonprofit. I feel like a lot of the things that I do are community based, which is awesome. And I love giving all of my time there. But sometimes it helps me connect better when I give it a minute and I kind of separate my time.
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. So as a theater kid, what was the last show that you saw?
The last show that I saw, well, I actually went to a play at Actors Playhouse called A Rock Sails By.
Nice.
It was a super cool story about like how where faith meets like science and this woman having a revelation. It was so cool at Actors Playhouse. I don't know if it's still airing, but I recently saw that. But I also love going to like kids shows. So like if I hear that there's like a performance at a local school, I'm like there and supporting with my ticket. And it's always fun to see people engaging. And
that's because we also had to sell tickets to our holiday concerts.
And we know how hard it is to get people. It's like you'll get extra credit. Like he's telling the whole football team, like you'll get extra credit if you come to Legally Blonde.
Yeah.
So
and all the booster parents, God bless their souls, with like the baked goods. And I remember we used to do like spaghetti dinner and like the dinner rolls. And so shout out to all the band parent, art parents, chorus parents, theater parents.
You are the real
sports
MVPs.
Parents. Yeah.
The real MVPs.
The original Ubers too. But I'm just kidding. No, you guys are awesome. Shout out to all the parents out there. So Cristine, what are you listening to these days? What are you rocking out to? What are you?
Okay, so I've been on what was that song I was listening to this morning? Love the Cranberries lately.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been kind of meeting my alternative rock side, which has been fun.
It's a throwback.
Yeah, it's a throwback, but I genuinely love all music. I think it depends on my mood, but that's what I've been listening to. In the office, you kind of find like the summer playlist. You play my office mate and I we alternate on who plays, but I do love rock music lately.
Okay. Yeah. Specific year, or you're just kind of in it for all
I'm kind of just in it. I feel like there's phases, right, that remind you. I was like, okay, that was 2011. Where was I? But
I know you said Cranberries, and it took me back to like the 8th grade and the Wallflowers and Meredith Brooks and good times back then.
So good, so good. There's so many classics, but I think it depends on my mood too. Like, unless it's like a Friday, I'm not listening to the Cranberries driving to work. Yeah. But I'm like, maybe a little bit of R&B or something. But yeah, that's what I'm listening to these days. What
Any concerts? Oh, me? I'm all over the place. Spotify made me a chill playlist recommendation, and it couldn't be more spot on. And
really?
Yeah, it has Teddy Swims.
Okay. I feel like that's your vibe.
Totally my vibe. It plays Kali Uchis, who I love. I don't know if you know Kali Uchis. So cool. I love her. You mentioned mentorship earlier. It's such an honor and privilege to be your mentor, and I know we've had a couple of little sessions here and there impromptu. But what is so important about mentorship to you? Are you mentoring anyone right now? And I know you've had other amazing mentors, nowhere near any of their caliber, but
I can't believe you.
Why is it so important, you think, for you? And what has been a piece of advice that one of your mentors has given you?
Yeah, I think mentorship is critical in many different forms. I think people think that you need only one mentor, but I think you need different types of mentors: personal, professional, wellness, depending on what season you are in your life. So a couple of questions that you asked there. Professional mentors are super important, but also in seasons. So mentorship for me, you learn so much depending on where you are. So they really just help you connect. For me, mentorship works better when it's informal. So, I mean, that's such a loaded question. I am mentoring informally like you meet people professionally that want to go into nonprofit, right? And they don't know where to start. And they don't know if fundraising is for them or where they fit. So you kind of can help guide them from when you were entry level. So that's one way. But mentorship is important to me because you learn a lot about yourself, but you also get to teach your mentor, depending on what season they're in, and how to mentor you. Yeah. And it's a working relationship. It's kind of like a partnership, right? Like, you're not my boyfriend, but you're my mentor, so I'm gonna check in on you. I'm gonna see, I want you to challenge me as well. I think sometimes mentors, in my experience, not you, but have had challenges, like having the hard conversation because they don't wanna discourage you. Where I'm on the flip side of that, and like I want you to have hard conversations with me and keep it real and say you're not on the right path. This is what you need to do to get on that path. And now where can I augment your efforts and kind of give you that push into doing it? So I try to apply that. There's some great nonprofits with mentorship programs all over Miami-Dade County, so that's a great place to start. But mentorship is really such a beautiful, special thing when you find and connect with the right person. I was so grateful when I went and had coffee with Adriana, and she was telling me about her mentors, and I was like, wait, will you mentor me? And she's like, that's so cool. I would love to mentor you. And it's really just that simple. I think when you hear from a lot of people about mentorship, they think it's this so formal thing and you need an application, all this stuff, when really I was just having a cup of coffee with her, and I was like, you're actually really cool. I've learned a lot from you. Like, will you mentor me in specific areas? And you're able to develop what your dynamic is with your mentor in whatever season you're in. And I have several mentors that I'm so, so grateful for, that I would not be sitting here. I would not be half of the fundraiser that I am. And it's just really exciting to see how you develop, but also how your mentor develops.
Yeah.
So loaded question with a loaded answer.
I love it. I was at a United Way, Women of United Way breakfast the other day, and they had, and her name escapes me, but they had the founder of Guilt, which is it's like a Groupon, but on a much luxurious scale. And, she's saying that as a mentor herself, she actually learns more from her mentees and from the mentoring aspect. And it's so true, because you get to learn about new challenges and new issues and new situations and kind of help your mentee navigate through them. So I love being both a mentee and a mentor, and you're right, they're so important. What's going on in your personal life these days?
I knew that question was coming.
Only because we're friendsies.
Yes, we are friendsies. A lot is going on in my personal life. I don't think I anticipated a lot of the things that are happening, but it really is a season of Cristine, which I'm not used to, because
I love it.
So my personal mantra, which is an anonymous person, if you are watching this and you know who wrote this, please tell me, because I love it and I sometimes sign my emails with it. But it says, in a world where you have everything, be a giver first. And because of the work that I do, where I just give my time, my talent, my treasure, and I'm in love with nonprofit, and I even give, because I know how important it is working in this sector, how nonprofits really value it. In my personal life, I'm trying to also give to myself. So this is a season of Cristine, taking time to do things that I enjoy and I love, and challenging myself, and just making time for me. Seems very selfish, but in the end of the day, everyone is kind of doing it. So you just got to make time to do it, and prioritize yourself and charge yourself how you know how to. So that's my personal life. It's been in a transition. I will be so honest. I'm living on my own for the first time.
That's huge.
Yeah, it is huge. So like, I've always lived with somebody, whether it's my parents or a partner, but now I'm living on my own, and I'm just like, am I hearing voices? Is it me? Is it myself? I catch myself talking to myself, and it's like, okay, nobody can judge me because they're not here. But also, there's nothing wrong with wanting to binge watch a show on your day off, or going for a run in a park that you've never been to before. So just exploring and learning who I am as a woman versus when I was 20 years old and I first ventured out on my own, and now that I'm 28 years old, I'm learning such a different side of myself as a woman and what I've grown into, and I'm actually pretty cool, right? Like,
I think
I'm
you're
pretty cool.
Otherwise, you wouldn't be here.
Oh, you're awesome.
Yeah, you're awesome.
So I think just find, any advice I could give to people about their personal life is just find what you think is cool. And in the end of the day, like, nobody really cares. Like, do what you care about. And a rebrand for me was kind of a couple years ago, where I started saying, well, Cristine just cares. So all of my content is like, Cristine cares.
Yeah.
So just find things that you care about personally or professionally, and do what you care about, and the right people, the right mentors, the right friends will follow.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. I want to go back to, you said you're 28 now.
Mm-hmm.
You're not the same when you were 20. You're living on your own, all the things. One, are you enjoying the sound of silence and peace?
Well, I can never shut up, so it's really different for me. Like, I'm known as the La Cotorra in my family.
In your own house, you're talking to yourself?
Yeah, I just find myself like,
I love it.
Wow. Like, I'll drop something and be like, oh, like, I just talk to myself. But it's also good. I'm a person that says my stream of consciousness out loud.
Yeah.
And it's something I've always struggled with. Like, I've always been insecure about how much I talk. And I'm kind of trying to flip that mindset to, like, why?
Yeah.
This is who you are. Like, yeah, sometimes you might need to filter. But if you're around the right people that love and care about you, they'll be like, hold on, give it a second. But just being authentic, right?
Yeah.
And that's who I don't need to be. While it is an insecurity, it's also, like, paradoxically not. Because it's who I am, and it's what makes me who I am. So what? I do talk a lot. I might need to filter more of what I say, but it's who I am, and I'm learning. I am enjoying the solitude, getting to design it. It's like my fun house. So I have like a disco ball for a light, and just pink pillows if I want them, and just, making it a safe space for me and my soul as I grow. And so I am enjoying it, but it is definitely it's been transformative.
I like it. So that leads me into the next question that
Let's
I had
hear
for
it.
you. Knowing all of this now in such a short period of time, because it is admirable, you're the director of a development department for a very credible organization in Miami at such a young age. You are leaps and bounds ahead of other kids your age, you know, in not just professional, but community projects and, you know, that community circle that we're all part of.
Mm-hmm.
What does Cristine today tell Cristine from 15 years ago? What do you tell little Cristine?
I don't know why that made me so emotional. I would tell her that she can be her own kind of cool, and you don't need to fit into this box of people, and you don't even need to think outside of the box. Like, look at what you have in your box and make do with what's there, because when you look at what you have and you build from it, it's so much more than you can ever imagine. And I would tell her that she is capable. Imposter syndrome is real. Just putting it out
For
there.
all of us.
For everyone, right? And I think people don't talk about it enough. But I would tell her that make your own kind of cool, because you can leave magic wherever you go. And it's okay to be different. It's okay to have different interests than the mainstream. It's okay to have short hair. Short hair is new for me. I've had long hair my whole life. So just instead of thinking outside of the box, look inside your box, because I'm pretty sure it's really cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you would want to share with us that maybe we didn't touch on right now, but have talking about?
I would just keep encouraging you. I think, you want to talk about me and all the awesome things that I do, but you are also equally as
thank
awesome.
you.
And every partner, mentee, friend that you have touched, you leave an impact, and you're just
thank
like
you.
sparkle. Like you're just very sparkly, and
I love that.
you leave love wherever you go, and it's very genuine. So just keep doing what you're doing. 'Cause
Thank
you're doing
you.
awesome things, my awesome friend.
Hey. Well, I certainly would not be able to be in the position that I am today without people like you in my corner and in my orb and in my sphere.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we're very blessed to be part of a community of really awesome people that we can tap
It is incredible.
into anytime, from lawyers to, I don't know, accountants to people in the nonprofit
Business
space,
owners.
small business owners.
Yeah.
And so we are truly blessed to be surrounded by so many awesome champions.
We truly are so blessed. You can find everything that you're looking for in this community. You just got to go looking for it, right? You just have to find it. If not, it'll find you, like fundraising found me. I didn't wake up one day and said, I want to be a fundraiser. I don't think anybody has ever woken up and said that. I mean, I personally love it. I know that I might be an anomaly, but I've been so grateful to work in a tribe of people that are able to connect in different ways. And through this leadership program that we were both a part of, it really was so transformational, being a participant to coming back to working with current participants and just seeing the power of connection. 10 days of connection, right? The power of connection is so, so monumental. You just have to connect in the right ways. There's no right or wrong way,
Yeah.
but you have to connect in the right ways for you.
Yeah. And connecting with people is also a lot like kissing frogs until you find your Prince Charming, because
It's true.
we meet so many people, but not everyone sticks. Like, for example, our relationship, we were in a group of 25 people that were volunteers on a specific project for 3 or 4 months. And I didn't build the kind of relationship with some of those other people as I built with you because of the way that we connected through
Right.
the arts, right? So another shout out to the arts.
Shout out to the arts.
I do have another question while we're on the topic of fundraising. For those that are out there that are perhaps interested in fundraising or are starting their own nonprofits and are looking to raise funds or hire a development director, what does the day-to-day life of a fundraiser look like? And I know that's loaded because
It's
it's
a big
very different
question.
every day, but what does it look like? You know, what tips might you have?
I would say don't be afraid to ask. I learned how to fundraise by being told no. And I started my fundraising career on the opposite side of it. So I was the one receiving the dollars rather than asking for the dollars and distributing. And then I came to the other side of it with an amazing organization here in Miami. And I kind of learned the ins and outs of it. But I really learned how to fundraise by donors telling me no. And something that I encourage my team of all the time is you don't need the perfect shot to get the dollar, because there's things such like donor fatigue, and there's things that, the opportunity might fly by, or they might be engaged with other nonprofits. So if you have a 70% chance of getting the dollar, or the time or the project or anything, ask. The worst that's going to happen is you're going to be told no. You're going to be able to adjust your strategy for whatever type of donor that is, and you're going to be able to apply that as you go in your fundraising career, and make sure that you're fundraising to something that connects with you. So I love giving back. I love fundraising. I was obviously the person that would win in selling chocolates every year for the school play. Like, I'm just competitive by nature. Could also be because I'm Cuban and I have two sisters. But I think find what you connect with, because storytelling is so important. But you need to connect with what you're selling, because people are going to be able to tell if you don't believe what you're selling. You have to eat the product that you're selling, right? And I'm very fortunate and blessed that I get to work at Chapman Partnership, because when I was growing up, you know, my parents always made sure I had everything I ever needed or wanted, and I was very blessed. But all of that can change in an instant. In illness, right? So my father fell ill at a very early age, and my life changed overnight. My mom became his full-time caretaker, and what once was a household that had their bills paid, that, you know, was able to vacation and travel, that all shifted to leaning on a community of people here in Miami-Dade County to uplift us and get us to the next step. So I'm super grateful for the nonprofits here in Miami-Dade County that was able to bridge pathways. But me coming to Chapman Partnership, I think at the time I wasn't looking to leave where I was. It kind of is something that found me. And I thought, what an amazing opportunity to be able to connect with the population that I connect with. I see little girls that look just like me getting on the school bus, and my school probably would have never known that I was experiencing short-term homelessness while my father was ill. And it was a very small period of time, like maybe a week, but it still is an experience. Yeah. But if it wasn't for my community, I wouldn't be able to connect how I connect. So the work is real if you connect with it. And I can tell you now that the work I'm doing at Chapman is so fulfilling, because I know what it's like to be on the other side, and I'm able to tell people, like, your impact is so much more than you can imagine. It's getting somebody brand new shoes for their first day of school. It's helping somebody get their resume skills up to date. That's what your impact is doing. And that goes for any nonprofit. So I've been very fortunate to, again, have such an incredible career already in fundraising. And I look forward for many, many more years of supporting nonprofits and Chapman and what I do. But my advice to somebody in fundraising is, if you love it, make sure that you connect with the work that you're selling. And some nonprofits have so many different arms of what they do. Find something that really sticks with you and make it personal. Yeah. I know a lot of people are like, separate the personal and professional, but you have to find one thing that's personal for you so that you can sell it. Yeah. And sell it well. Yeah. So that would be my advice, is just connect.
And that's great advice in general, right? You'll never know if you don't go for it.
It's very true.
So if you don't go for it, the answer is always going to be no, right? And so you could go for it, might still be no, but it's a numbers game as well. So,
and there's different types of fundraising too, you know, that you learn and you love and you hate, and you're like, maybe I don't want to write grants, but I also love major gifts. So where can you meet in the middle and augment the efforts of your team? One of my mentors, and she's a brilliant colleague, always says for nonprofits, like, people need to know us so that they love us, and then they give to us. And if those three don't happen, it's probably not going to have the same impact. Because it creates longevity. So shout out to one of my mentors.
Do you want to say her name?
Heidi Kaufman. Heidi Alze Kaufman. She's great. But yeah, she says that all the time. She's like, people need to know. It's simple. People need to know us, to love us, so that they give to us.
And what kind of resources do organizations like Chapman need or could use for the audiences that they serve?
I would say understand what the framework of the continuum is. So we're the primary partner of the Miami-Dade County Homeless Trust. But understanding what that continuum looks like and who it serves and how they serve differently is super important, because if you're passionate about homelessness, there's so many different nonprofits in Miami that either use shelter, beyond shelter, post shelter. Find what connects with you in the process. But I would say nonprofits, volunteers are the backbone of our mission. We have about 800 clients that we serve nightly. Resources, whether in-kind, financial, time, really support our efforts, because our staff to client ratio is very different. But just resources, any nonprofit can use as resources, even if it's service on a board, service on a council, coming and serving every Saturday with your family, making an in-kind donation when you do spring cleaning. Resources in general can help any nonprofit, but Chapman specifically, we have about 800 people on site, families with children, elderly, you name it. So just reach out to our community relations team, and we'll be able to get you settled.
It's amazing. it's baffling how many people are in need, but it's awesome to know that there are organizations like yours, Camillus, Lotus House, which specializes in mothers with kids or mothers that are pregnant, right, specifically. So if you are looking for, not just in Miami-Dade, because there's nonprofits all over the United States and the world, if you are looking to give back to your community, if you're looking to play a minor role, here's an opportunity anywhere. You know, you can donate $5, you can donate a pair of shoes, you can donate your time. So this isn't about asking for things necessarily this show, but we're on the topic, and why not, you know, share some good wholesome information. So
or start your own nonprofit about things that you love.
Yeah, absolutely. there's always a need for something, and I would also encourage those that are trying to start a nonprofit to see what similar nonprofits are in their neighborhoods, and maybe they can help expand or collaborate with them versus reinventing the wheel. I'd love to see all the collaboration amongst the different organizations, which is helping cause that impact ripple effect that you saw at such a young age. Thanks for opening up and being vulnerable about that.
Your story is your story. And the more you share what you're uncomfortable about, the more you become comfortable with it.
Absolutely.
I learned that in mentorship. The more that you share what makes you uncomfortable, the more you get comfortable and learn how to communicate it. You're probably not going to communicate it in the best way. You might cry sometimes. You might be happy to talk about it. You might close up. But the more you do it, it's in practice.
And when the time's right, I feel.
And when the time is right in a space that you're comfortable, but know that your story is beautiful no matter what it looks like. And I love what you said about collaboration. I think when I first started fundraising several years ago, it was like people were like afraid to partner and collaborate because it's like what's mine is not yours. But I think collaboration is the new competition. I know a couple of leaders in our community have said that, but it's true. Collaboration is the new competition, and we are seeing on the fundraising side funders more eager to give more when they see nonprofits working together. So work together and be friends and see how you can help each other.
I hope that our 5-10 audience members will take away some good parting thoughts from this episode as well. So Cristine, thank you so much.
Thank you
for joining me on my awesome friend, because you are an awesome friend. Thank you all so much for tuning in. It's been a pleasure to be with you today, wherever you're listening to us or watching us from. And Cristine, again, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.